Hey there everyone, Nazarok here, and today I want to do the 9.2 Vengeance Demon Hunter Guide. Before we get into it, this community has been growing and I cannot do it without the people like you. I am just flabbergasted by the outpouring of support and amazingness that all of you guys have been and are. We've already reached 1,600 subs in almost no time at all. I cannot believe it. 2K is quite literally right around the corner. And I am so excited for it. I'm so excited to be hitting these major goals as quick as I am, and I'm just taken away by it. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the support. There's a Twitch stream link down below if you like to watch people stream. I stream. As well, my guild Bloodstorm is currently actively looking for all DPS, anybody that wants to raid. We're a little bit more looking ahead for Season 4 for kind of how that raid's going to work and things like that. Just due to kind of the nature of things and how things have progressed. But that is what it is. So if you're looking for a new home, there's a guild link down below as well as a Discord link down below for the guild Bloodstorm. It is also the community Discord link for me here. So if you want to ask me any questions, any tanking questions, any tanking weak auras or LVI profiles that you're looking for, like this one here, are all in my Discord. So go ahead and check that out. So let's get into Vengeance Demon Hunter in the 9.2 Shadowlands guide. Now this has been a tank that has been a lot of fun for me. I'm not quite done gearing her out, but as of today, I've heard Valor Cap is going to be unlocked. It's still a little early in the morning, and I got my coffee here. So Valor Cap is going to be uncapped. There's going to be no more Valor Cap, so I'm going to actually be able to spend all this and upgrade everything that I want, which is very, very exciting for me. That, and I want to get my tier pieces up a lot higher than what they are. But, you know, it is what it is, bit by bit. There's 6 tanks to gear up, and I have to... There's only so much time in a week. So, when we start off with Vengeance Demon Hunter, let's talk stats. Before, actually, as well, there is a Shadowlands beginner's guide that's going to assume that you've actually watched it, or you understand a lot of the beginner's guide in this. This is literally Covenants, Legendaries, and all of that fun stuff. So that's what I'll be talking about here. But if you're just picking up Vengeance and you do not understand the basics of it, there is a Shadowlands beginner's guide linked down below. Your main stats are haste, because you quite literally want these globals to be as quick as possible, and versatility. Versatility is kind of a triple threat stat for Vengeance, where it increases the damage you do, it decreases the damage you take, and it increases your healing done. So this is really a stat that you want to stack as much as possible. Crit and mastery. I would prefer mastery over critical strike. The increased chance to parry is really only nice on necrotic weeks. So, but haste and versatility are your two most important stats because of the very nature of how Vengeance Demon Hunter plays. So these, when you're looking for gear, basically all the gear you want should have haste and versatility on them, and then you can also put in some mastery. Talent setup. Alright, so basically one of my favorite talent setups is this right here. Agonizing Flames, Fallout, Spirit Bomb. You can do this for both single target and Mythic Plus, although I will admit I do way more Mythic Plus than I would do Raid on all 6 tanks. Fracture, Quicken Sigils, Demonic, and Last Resort. Now, Quicken Sigils is going to be your play here because basically you're always going to be Kyrian. There are a few instances where Sigil of Chains is indeed very good. It is on 1.5 minute cooldown. Don't let this deceive you. I wish switching to Quicken Sigils didn't actually reduce this cooldown so you could actually see what it is always. It is a 1.5 minute cooldown, but with how good Quicken Sigils is with Elysian Decree, your class ability, you can get Elysian Decree down to almost no cooldown whatsoever with and all of that fun stuff in Mythic Plus. So you're going to just want to stick with Mythic with Quicken Sigils. Now, if you're a little bit worried about dying, there is indeed a Fiery Brand build, but before we get into there, if you're running this talent here with the Spirit Bomb, I would make the Dark Glare Medallion. Now, I made it on my neck. That's where I think it's best. Make it where you think it's best as well, but I think it does conflict, if I'm not mistaken. I had made this on my neck a long time ago. It actually does conflict with tier pieces. Yeah, it's neck or waist. So you have two options, and I made Unity on my waist, which is a pretty good spot for it. So really, you don't have much of a choice. Sorry. But that's where that is here. This is the setup that I like for kind of general all-around purposeness, and I don't have to worry about it. Now, if you are looking into the Fiery Brand build, which the Fiery Brand build does require the legendary Fiery Soul, each soul fragment consumed by Soul Cleave reduces the cooldown of Fiery Brand by 2 seconds, which means you take Burning Alive in place of Fallout. Unless it's single target, then Fallout can actually be a little bit better. But Burning Alive is your general go-to, because what happens is, well, obviously in single target, you'd want Fallout versus Burning Alive. Every 2 seconds, Fiery Brand spreads to one nearby target. Now, as we covered in the beginner's guide, Fiery Brand is a 1 minute cooldown, which gives you a shield based on your primary target and the damage you've done to it, and reduces their damage taken by 40% for 10 seconds. So very, very strong defensive ability there. And gaining the ability to spread that in targets in Mythic Plus is very nice. It's very good defensively, especially because if you misplay Vengeance Demon Hunter, you can be fairly squishy. And then Charge Flesh is ammo Aura's damage increases the duration of your Fiery Brand by 50 it's not 50 seconds. 0.5 is half a second. It is half a second. So all of the ammo Aura damage increases that defensiveness, that tankiness that goes on. Super nice, but Spirit Bomb, way more fun all around. So those are your talent setups there. Unity, I made it on my belt. Dark Glare Medallion, I made it on the medallion. All you need to know, easy setup, boom, done. Now, what do these do? So Fell Devastation has a 40% chance not to incur its cooldown and refund the 50 Fury. Now, it refunds 50 Fury because it costs 50 Fury. So this here adds a lot more extra tankiness and defensiveness with the spec, considering that you are pretty much always taking Demonic. So whenever you hit Feldev, you're entering Demonic Form. What Demonic Form does is, you check your Metamorphosis, increase your maximum health by 50% and your armor while 200%. While transformed, you gain more soul fragments off Fracture. Very nice ability. Very strong to have, reduced down to almost nothing. But your tier set also reduces this down. So let's talk tiered for just a few seconds here. The 2 set, the damage dealt by Ammo Aura has a 10% chance to generate a lesser soul fragment. More enemies around, the more soul fragments you get. Basically, the more enemies are around you as a Vengeance Demon Hunter, the less of a chance you have to die, because you can just spam so many Spirit Bombs. It's unreal. Excuse me, my nose is pretty, I'm feeling my nose this morning. Consuming a lesser soul fragment on the 4-piece reduces the remaining cooldown of your ammo or Fell Devastation by 1 second. This is very noticeable, and on a Spirit Bomb, that is a full 5-second cooldown reduction. You add on top of that in Mythic Plus, these drop so fast. So sometimes, like, I'll hit Feldev and it goes down to its cooldown, and then all of a sudden it just starts dropping with and then you hit a Spirit Bomb and it's back up in no time at all. Very, very nice. This is a very strong tier set, although it doesn't really... On paper, you read it and you're like, that's not super strong. In actual play, it is very strong. Getting resets on your Immo Aura, so then that way you can just literally pop it again using Fallout to generate more shards. It all goes in together and flows together and gives the class a lot of synergy that I find is lacking in some of the tier sets with other specs. But this all synergizes with one another and works very, very well, making it a very, very fun spec and build to play. What does the Unity Legendary do? Because let's talk about that. So Elysian Decree shatters 2 additional soul fragments and grants you Blind Faith for 10 seconds. For each lesser soul fragment you consume while Blind Faith is active, you gain 10 Fury and 1% versatility up to 20. This is very easy to gain your 20% versatility. So easy to gain it. And honestly, it was already the go-to for like your legendary of choice for the last 2 seasons. Now that you can add Dark Glare with it, you're getting a lot of synergy with that. Elysian Decree can easily be dropped down to almost nothing of a cooldown, because if you pop it on with Mechanicos, if you pop it on 4 targets, it's already down to like at 5 targets, it's down to 20 seconds less than 48. So 28-second cooldown. I mean, you can do that once or twice a pull. Easy. 3 times a pull, 4 times, depending on what the pulls are like. You add onto that, and you're just spamming it. Keeping that versatility up and just keeping you moving along. Speaking of Soulbinds and Soul Conduits, Mechanicos is by far your best option. Brawn, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Growing Inferno. Due to how much immolation aura you're using, Immo aura's damage is increased by 21% each time it deals damage. This is the one thing that you kind of want to check around this spec is with the tier piece, you're going to reduce Immo aura's damage, cooldown by a lot. You don't always want to spam it off cooldown because that way you're losing the stacks that you're gaining from it. It's increasing damage, but at the same time, you want the soul fragment. So that's something you have to judge, which is fairly nice to put into something that, you need quick thinking reaction. Fellfire Haste is my choice here. Infernal Strike increases your movement speed. This one here is very important for an Endurance Conduit, which is Fell Defender. The cooldown of Fell Devastation is reduced by, now here it's 16 seconds at 265. But I mean, let's talk about Fell Devastation and its importance. It's important. You should take it, and you should reduce the cooldown of it as often as possible. I like the haste of Hammer of Genesis, especially because of how much Vengeance really does love haste. I need to get that across. Vengeance loves haste. The healing of Shattered Souls is increased by 10%. Very strong cooldown. Conduit, sorry. All around good. Should take it. Great. Repeat Decree. Elysian Decree echoes a second sigil. 1 second later, damaging an enemy for X amount of more damage. All around good potency conduit. My choice here, I really like this for an Endurance Conduit, is whenever you take damage, you heal for 5% of your maximum health, and this can only occur once every 10 seconds. It actually does add up over the course of an M+ run. Big time, and it's free and easy healing. There's also Vicious Ink. Your demonic wards also reduce magic damage taken by an extra 10%. This is a very strong one as well. Something that you can take, and I have taken, depending on the dungeon, if there's a lot of incoming magic damage in the dungeon, I'll swap to Vicious Ink. But for most kind of day-to-day, I just stick with the Condensed Animosphere. There's also the Demon Muzzle, not that great, and Roaring Fire. Feldev heals you for 36% more based on your missing health. This is, unfortunately there, it's the based on your missing health part. It's nice when you're really low health because you get like the full 36%, but at half, it doesn't scale super well. So I would stick with this setup here. Although if you just want to stick Vicious Ink full time, you can absolutely do that without a problem. So that is Conduits, tier sets, double legendaries. Overall thoughts on Vengeance Demon Hunter 9.2? Very strong spot. They're doing fairly well in Raid. Mythic Plus, they're just an absolute blast to play. Honestly, I am really surprised that I've fallen in love with Vengeance as much as I have. And I do plan on playing a lot more of it. So, that is the 9.2 Shadowlands Vengeance Demon Hunter guide. Thoughts, process, all that fun stuff. I hope... Oh, trinkets! Trinkets! I almost forgot about trinkets! Some very strong defensive trinkets that you can take are the Blood Splattered Scale, of course, Shard of Annihilate's Aegis. Codex of the First Technique is okay if you're not kiting too much and you're face planting a little bit more, but it actually does add up to being anywhere between 7 to 10% of my overall healing and damage in a run. But this is also not me running 20s, like this is 17 to 18s, and I'm not having to kite too much yet, so just something to think about there. A couple of good offensive trinkets, mind you, are the Ticking Sack of Terror. Phial of Putrefaction is a fantastic offensive trinket, and the Cache of Acquired Treasures from Artificer Zymox. Very, very strong. And then, of course, there's the Cheat Death trinket from Fate Scribe for you to be able to get a second Cheat Death, so that way you can have Last Resort and the trinket. It's more niche for the Cheat Death trinket, but where it is useful with pushing higher end content, it is very, very nice to have. So yeah, that's it. That is the Vengeance Demon Hunter 9.2 guide. I promise. I hope you guys are enjoying the spec as much as I am. It has been an absolute blast to play. I've been taken back and surprised by it, but I am very excited for what's to come. with the uncapping of Valor, I'm going to be dumping a lot into upgrades on this character to boost up that eye level and have a lot more fun. But that is it. Are you guys enjoying Vengeance? Are you not enjoying Vengeance? Let's talk about that. Leave that down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you. Aside from that, enjoy your guys' day. Thank you very much for your time.